Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we got another news and rumor video to discuss. Today, talking about some signings from the past couple of days, some PTO updates, and some trade rumors involving the Leafs, Kings, and Islanders. And we'll go to all that coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to the video here at the UtahHC channel. If you're watching this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Thank you for all your support and everything with you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below and don't forget to comment down in the comment section below so you can also discuss in this video. Now, in today's video, we got a couple of signings to start here with. Lots of interesting signings from the past couple of days. We're going to start here with two signings the National Predators made to two of their pending RFAs. First, Mark Gaizo. Gaizo last year had 3 assists in 9 NHL games, his first 9 NHL games of his NHL career, but also had 8 goals and 34 points in 60 AHL games after having 31 points in 71 AHL games the year prior. Looked pretty good. He's a solid left shot defenseman, signs a 1-year league minimum deal with the National Predators, so probably won't get any NHL action. Could be a call-up option if the Predators run into some injury problems, but still, it's a pretty good pickup there for the Preds to get a young player on a 1-year league minimum deal, so that's a pretty good deal for the Preds. They also signed another guy to a 1-year league minimum deal, and that was center prospect UFA Parssinen, who last year split time between NHL and AHL, putting up 8 goals and 12 points in 44 NHL games last year, also having 7 goals and 25 points in 36 AHL games. Looks pretty good after having 25 NHL points in 45 NHL games the year prior, so Parssinen looks like a pretty good player, could have a chance at like a 4th line role this year with the National Predators, so seeing him get 1-year league minimum is pretty good for the Preds, and I think that should be a really good pickup there for Nashville. So Preds signed Gaizo and Parssinen to 1-year league minimum deals, so pretty good stuff there. And then we saw 3 signings earlier today. First, the Calgary Flames have signed one of the pending UFAs on the free agent market, and that's former Blackhawk RFA Tinordi, who's been playing with the Blackhawks over the past few seasons. Last year put up 9 assists in 52 NHL games after having 2 goals and 8 points in 44 NHL games the year prior with the Blackhawks, so he looks pretty good. I think it could be a solid 6th, 7th defenseman, maybe a little bit higher with the Flames having not too good of a defense, so that's a pretty good pickup there as the Flames strengthen their blue line a little bit by signing of RFA Tinordi. It's only a 1-year deal with AAV of $800,000, so it's not too much term, it's not too much money, and I think that could be a really good steal there for the Calgary Flames, so pretty good pickup there. Then we finally saw Toronto Maple Leafs, one of the bigger RFAs left on the RFA market, and that was RFA forward Nick Robertson, who was coming off a season where he had 14 goals and 27 points in 56 NHL games and also had 5 goals and 11 points in 9 AHL games. Looked pretty good last year after having 5 points in 15 games the year prior. Didn't look overly bad, but he still seems like he wants a fresh start. Signs a 1-year deal with a $875,000. Now, whether he stays and is going to be a member of the Maple Leafs and maybe gets an opportunity to top 9 this year, or whether he goes and is potentially a move at training camp is still yet to be seen, but at least the Leafs are able to get him on their contract so he can go to training camp, so pretty good pickup there for the Leafs. But Leafs send Robertson to a 1-year $875,000 deal, and we'll have to wait and see on if he stays there or if the Leafs are able to move him, so we'll have to wait and see on that. And lastly, we saw the Seattle Kraken make a big signing extension with one of their key defensemen, and that's Adam Larsson, who is entering the final year of his deal. It's been a really good piece there for the Kraken in his 3 seasons with Seattle. Put 25 points in 82 games the first year, 33 points in 82 games the second year. Last year, a little bit of a down year, putting up 18 points in 81 games, but he's been a really good veteran leader, really good deep pair for Vince Dunn. Has worked out fantastically on that defensive core. He signs the new extension. The Kraken signed to a 4-year deal with a AV of $5.25 million that begins at the start of next year. That's a pretty good deal for the Kraken. He's going to be 36 when he ends this contract, so that's interesting to note there, but this is a pretty good signing there for Larsson. I mean, Larsson's been a really good top 4 defenseman. Even in Edmonton, he was a pretty good top 4 defenseman, so to get him signed, he's not going to put up a whole bunch of points, but he can be a really solid defensive defenseman, which is something I think the Kraken really need, and I think this is going to be a fantastic fit there for Seattle. So interesting note there, but the Kraken have sent Adam Larsson to an extension, 4 years at $5.25 million to remain with the Kraken, and now all the trade speculation around Larsson is probably going to go away. So interesting note there, but the Kraken have extended Larsson. Robertson's now signed in Toronto. Tinordi gets a new deal in Calgary, while RFA's Gaizo and Parssinen signed Nashville. So interesting note there. If we look at some PTO updates, we have 2 PTO updates. Barrie, which we talked about a couple days ago, has officially gone to PTO and is going to training camp with the Calgary Flames. So not too surprised there, as we talked about. Flames can definitely use some more defensive help. Barrie's a really good offensive defenseman, can maybe run one of the power plays the Flames have if he does get a contract. So that could be a really good fit there for the Flames. Top 4 right shot defenseman, something they desperately need. So pretty good pickup there for the Flames, and we'll see if Barrie is able to earn a contract with the Calgary Flames. Meanwhile, we also saw another guy sign a PTO, and that's Adam Erne, former Oiler, played last year with the Oilers, also former Red Red Wing, former Tampa Bay Lightning. Signs a PTO with the New York Rangers. That's a pretty good pickup there. Erne's a really good solid bottom six forward, can be a spare forward, potentially even a call-up option. So if he's able to get a contract there from the Rangers, that could be a really good pickup there for New York. So interesting note there, but Barrie in Calgary and Erne in New York have both signed PTO. So interesting note there. And lastly, going over to a couple of trade rumors. And these aren't necessarily trade rumors, but these are three players I really do think we could see be moved at some point during training camp. These guys have been a hot topic in the rumor mill. These guys have been very much potential options for trade candidates. And these are three teams that could see acquire each and every one of these teams. Now we'll start in New York with the New York Islanders. For them, I'm looking over here at Oliver Wahlstrom. Now Wahlstrom has been an up and down player over the past couple of years. Signed a one-year deal, $1 million this offseason, but right afterwards there were a lot of comments that were coming out saying that the Islanders probably wouldn't keep Wahlstrom, and we're still looking to try and move on from him. So it sounds like there's a very likely chance Wahlstrom, it could be a waiver placement too, but there's a very likely chance the Islanders probably move him at some point during training camp. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But three teams who I think could really benefit from a guy like Oliver Wahlstrom, who I think at this point in his career, the third liner, who I think needs a little more step up in his game, would be the Anaheim Ducks, the Utah franchise, and the Winnipeg Jets. Now, if you look at these three teams, they could all use a little bit more offensive upgrades. The Utah franchise has a lot of interesting upgrades on their forward group, but they made a ton of changes on their blue line. Could probably use another young forward who I think could challenge for a roster spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if a team like Utah had some interest. It would make some sense for them. I feel like the Winnipeg Jets, they lost a lot of pieces this year, including top six forwards Toffoli and Sean Monahan. Didn't really replace them a whole bunch. So if they are able to get a solid young forward like Oliver Wahlstrom to fit in like their middle six, I think that could be a really good pickup there. And maybe the Jets are able to unlock Oliver Wahlstrom's potential of like a 20 goal scorer. So that could be a really good fit. Another team is Anaheim. We know that they have made a whole bunch of moves this offseason. Could definitely use another offensive weapon. I know Wahlstrom's not a whole bunch of a really good offensive weapon, but he could fit really well in like the third, second line, maybe playing with a little bit better players who are more offensively minded. That could really help a guy like Wahlstrom. So in my opinion, it seems like Wahlstrom's going to get moved. I know Wahlstrom hasn't been an overly great player in New York, but I think if he gets a fresh start, finds new line mates, maybe has a little more of an offensive mindset, I think he could fit in really well with a lot of teams. And I think a team like Utah or a team like Winnipeg or a team like Anaheim could really help him lock that potential. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Going over to LA Kings. Now when it comes to the LA Kings, they have a guy here who's currently an RFA. He doesn't really seem inclined to be back with the LA Kings this year, and that's Arthur Kailyev. Now Kailyev is a really good player. Last year was one of the leaders from the Kings in goals per 60 minutes, 5-on-5. So he was looking really good, but he lost favor towards the end of the season, got healthy scratch. I don't even think he played a playoff game. So the Kings really seem to want a fresh start for him. He wants a fresh start. So I think a trade will come at some point. It doesn't seem inclined to sign with the Kings either. So I think that might speed up the process. Three teams who I think could be really good landing spots for Arthur Kailyev would be one, Buffalo. We talked about this a little bit. They haven't made a huge splash yet. Could definitely use some more forward upgrades on their team. I think Kailyev could be a really good fit on like the third line for the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe get a shot on like the top six. So it could be a really good fit there, and they have the cap space to sign him to a new deal. Really could pay him whatever he wants. So I would think it would only cost like a third or fourth round pick to sign Kailyev, and I think for the Buffalo Sabres, who have a couple of draft picks and a lot of cap space, it would make a ton of sense for them. So I think Buffalo could be a really good fit there for Kailyev. Another team has a lot of cap space, some draft picks, and could use some more offensive help will be a team like the Calgary Flames. Flames are probably not going to be overly good this year, but they could definitely use some more younger players to build for the future. Kailyev, I think, could be a really good player who fits in their top 9. If they do move some players in season, closer to trade deadline, could be a good player in their top 6. I think he could be a solid 20 to 25 goal scorer in Calgary, so that would be another interesting potential lining spot there for Arthur Kailyev. And lastly will be the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, Knights are a little bit out there, but with the Leonard placed in long-term injury reserve, they would have around enough cap space to make that sort of a deal work. I think they would also have a couple of draft picks they could make sort of a deal work. They haven't had that big splash a lot of people have been expecting from Vegas, and I think getting a younger guy like Kailyev who could put up a lot of goals could be really good there for the Knights. And they've had a lot of experience with taking on former Kings players and having them play really good for them. So take Alec Martinez or Michael Amadio, for example. So that may be a really good option there for the Kings. But interesting out there, I think Kailyev will get moved at some point during training camp. Might be while I'm moving, might be after I move, might be closer to the start of the season. So we're going to have to wait and see, but I definitely expect a Kailyev move because it doesn't seem like he's intent on signing with the LA Kings. And I think teams like the Golden Knights, Sabres, and Flames could be really good landing spots for him. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And lastly, going over to Toronto Maple Leafs and Nick Robertson. Now, we just talked about how Robertson signed. He's now signed for 1 year, $875,000. Could wind up staying with the Maple Leafs. There was was a lot of talk the Brewers going to try and convince him that he's still got a really big role with the team and he could fit in the top 9. I think him signing could be that. It could be him staying in Toronto. But I've seen also a lot of people say that with him signing, that is going to allow him to go to training camp, which means a lot of people are going to see him, which could be a benefit to Robertson instead of not a benefit. And also, this cap hit now officially known for this upcoming season, it would also allow teams to sort of figure out where they could fit him in their roster. So I'm not exactly sure that Robertson won't get traded. I think it's a little bit less likely now, but I think that even though he's signed, it's not a guarantee that he's going to stay in Toronto, so I have to wait and see on that. But if there were to be a trade, 3 teams I could see Robertson go to. Some teams have been linked to him, some teams haven't. One would be Pittsburgh, who has been linked to him. The Penguins, like we said, Kyle Dubas connection, former Leaf GM, helped take Nick Robertson in the draft, so he has a lot of connections to Robertson. Could use another bomb 6 forward at $875,000. I think the Penguins could fit him in under the cap, so I think that could be a really good fit. He could play in like a top 9 role, maybe even a top 6 role, so a guy like Evgeny Malkin or Sidney Crosby. So we're gonna have to wait and see, but I think Robertson will be a fantastic pickup there for the Penguins. The Dallas Stars are another team. He has his brother playing there, and Jason Robertson would have to compete with a little bit more of a deeper forward group, but with them having $6 million, only needing to sign Thomas Harley, he could definitely fit under their cap. I think he'd be a really good fit there for the Dallas Stars, so we're gonna have to wait and see on that. And on top of those 2 teams, another team who could definitely try and land a guy like Nick Robertson would be the LA Kings. They don't have too much cap space, but they do have enough that they would be able to fit Robertson under their cap. They also have a couple of roster spots open on like the bottom 6, so they could definitely fit Robertson in there. Robertson's also from California, so it'll be a sort of homecoming for him, so that could be a really good fit there for the Kings. I mean, if Robertson can find his form, put up 15-20 goals, that could be a really good bottom 6 addition there for the Kings. So like I said, no guarantees Robertson gets moved, especially after this contract that he just signed, but I think if he does get moved, and there's still a possibility that he's probably does want out of Toronto, then I think teams like LA, Dallas, and Pittsburgh might be interesting landing spots for him. But that's all I'm talking for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on all of this down in the comment section below. What do you think about these 3 players? Do you think Robertson gets moved, and if so, could it be to Dallas, Pittsburgh, or LA? Do you think Wahlstrom gets moved, and if so, do you think it could be to Utah, Winnipeg, or Anaheim? And do you think that Kailyev gets moved, and if so, do you think a team like Calgary, Vegas, or Buffalo could be a landing spot? Definitely if you guys' thoughts on all of that. Remember, just my speculation. Some of these guys have been linked to some of these teams. Some of them are just purely my speculation. But what do you think about those 3 players? Plus, what do you think about the signings from our past couple of days and the PTO updates? Are you surprised by Larsson's extension, Robertson signing in Toronto, or the PTO Barrie in Calgary? Definitely leave your guys' thoughts on all of that. That's all I'm talking about for today. Until this video, if you'd like to subscribe down below. Thank you for all your support. We're now to without you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't leave a comment down in the comment section below. So what's going on in today's video. Also a blog, talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that. So check that out. Leave a link down in the description below. And kind of see you guys all for next video. See you guys soon.